It's really happening. For the first time since 2002, Cleveland back in the playoffs after beating the Steelers team without a lot of key starters. Still, it came down to stopping a 2-point conversion to win. But Browns are in. Here's Baker Mayfield with a little perspective.
Yeah, for our team to win 11 games this year over a lot of ups and downs, to learn new systems on both offense and defense over Zoom meetings, to have a lot of new faces and get to know each other in a very different way, and to come out and find a way to get in the playoffs in a division that has 3 teams in the playoffs. That's pretty damn special. And so I'm proud of this team, but, like I said, that, we're not satisfied. And that's the best part is we've scratched and clawed and found a way to get in when we had to. And all we wanted was a chance, and now we have one.
I love when people wear a hat that just has a noun on it. All right, so it's Browns-Steelers again next week. Nick, did Baker prove his doubters wrong? I guess I should ask myself that question, but instead I will ask you, did Baker prove all his doubters wrong?
If they're being honest about what they said about him going into the year, then yeah. Because this is a franchise that not just over the last 20 years has been a mess, over the last 20 months was a mess. They were 30 months. 0-16, 1-15. Freddie Kitchens is the coach. Greg Williams is in there with some position of power. My old buddy Todd Haley's in a power struggle. The whole thing is a disaster. And going into this year, they were in the toughest division in football, the best division in football. Once again, as Baker said, learning a new offense. I think this is the 4th offense Baker Mayfield has learned in his 3 years. In the oddest season we've seen maybe ever in the NFL, and they won 11 games. Now, does that mean they can win the Super Bowl? I don't think they can win the Super Bowl this year. I don't think they can get to the Super Bowl this year. Does it mean, though, that the narrative of will the Browns pick up Baker's 5th-year option, that has to go away now? Should the Browns move on from Baker Mayfield? That is gone, at least for the time being, and for the time being the next few years. He is their guy. He's the best quarterback they've had since Bernie Kosar, at least. And this team should be incredibly proud of what it accomplished, understanding that if they were in the AFC South instead of the AFC North, they might have won 13 damn games. And so, Brandon, I think he proved a lot of the skeptics wrong, and I will go a step further. I think he conducted himself pretty damn well on and off the field throughout the year, and those people had questions about both, about on and off the field, and I think he handled himself beautifully.
Okay, so Nick, before I even answer the question, I want to talk about 3 plants, 3 trees that has flimsy branches, and you should stay away from planting these trees, all right? That's the female ginkgo, that's the eastern white pine, and that's the red oaks. So, guys, if you're out there and you're into landscaping and planting trees, or if you have a landscaping company coming, stay away from those trees because the branches, they're just not strong, they're not stable. So, buddy, I want to give you credit because you're like one of 3 people in the entire world that went out on those branches and said, Baker Mayfield and the Browns will probably go to the playoffs. They'll turn this thing around. We had knockdown arguments all year about Baker Mayfield and the Browns. So I have to give you credit for standing up for something that most people wouldn't. Okay, so to answer the question, here's what I would say. I don't think that he proved his doubters wrong. I think that discussion happens next year. I think next year we jump into, okay, is Baker Mayfield the guy? Is he the one that can get this team over the hump, meaning get him to the Super Bowl? Is he the guy for the next 10, 15 years? I think this is something to be celebrated because of everything that you said all year, that this team has been in the bowels of the NFL for 20-plus years. And for them to come in after so many different offensive coordinators and philosophies and coaches, and him lead his team to victory, lead his team to the playoffs, is a huge accomplishment. I don't care how they got in. They are in, and that needs to be applauded and celebrated. Wilds.
Yeah, so I'm happy. They're super fun to root for, Nick, and I'm happy for everyone who roots for the Browns, right? My buddy Bilo roots for the Browns. Happy for him. Happy for Drew Carey, tweeted out. I'm happy for LeBron, who, after watching his favorite team get eliminated, Dallas Cowboys, got to see his favorite team make the playoffs, the Cleveland Browns. So it's a win for everybody. But I think it's a short-lived celebration, Nick, because the Steelers team, they're all coming back, and I think Mike Tomlin played this thing perfectly. Got sacked one time yesterday. I don't think this is going to be a different story once Cam Hayward's in there, and once TJ Watt is in there, and once Big Ben is in there, and he's had a chance to let that noodle arm that you like to call rest. I think the Browns are going to be sort of one and done. Not one and done. They'd have to win a game, so it'd be like probably none and done. So
no,
the question
that's
to you
one
is
and
this.
done. That's right. One and done is right.
You win, you go one.
That's how you say
win.
it.
Okay. Anyways,
yeah, one and done.
Sure.
Right.
I'm taking my college basketball stuff confused. Then they declare for the NBA draft. So the question is this: if Baker plays poorly and they lose to the Steelers, if TJ Watt has a day and Cam Hayward has a day, do you think it's still going to be flowers and parades in Cleveland?
I don't know. Of course, there won't be parades. There's no parades, but
well, not parades.
Listen, I think that typically, when a young quarterback plays in his first playoff game, the expectation isn't that he'll play well. Not everybody's Patrick Mahomes. Most people are Josh Allen. You're fumbling the ball and throwing backwards laterals in your first playoff game because the moment's too big for you. Now, the very next year, you can come back and be a fraudulent MVP candidate. Maybe Baker can be that. I don't know. But what I do know is that the Browns now get to go into next season either way. If they upset the Steelers, Brandon, in Pittsburgh, this season is a wild success, a massive success.
Yeah.
And if they lose in Pittsburgh, this season is still, you reflect on it a month later, Brandon, you say, damn, we did a lot. We went from laughingstock to 11-win playoff team.
Yeah, but back to Wild's question really quick. If they lose and Baker plays bad, then it's going to be an issue. Because here's the two things that I want to see. Let's go with the scenario they lose. If they lose, Baker Mayfield turn the ball over, that's a problem because there's two things that he needs.